So the new Silent Hill is out, and I felt like I should make a video of what it's like because a million people have done that already and released it. So I'm late to the party, but I don't care. The footage in the background is to illustrate the points. It's not the usual kind where you have some random YouTube man just rambling about some completely off-topic thing, and the stuff in the background doesn't matter at all. So just watch the screen. You can see what I'm talking about. But I'm too late anyways. The real YouTube money on this game has already been cashed out. This is just for funsies. And for me it's a time capsule because I have some hot opinions about this game in particular. That's also why I went in there basically wanting to be a hater. But turns out I actually like it. And the reason to go ahead like a hater, but still pre-ordering it and then getting surprised is because it's Konami as the publisher. You know, they still own this franchise, and Bloober Team developed it. So that was a match made in hell, essentially, of a shitty publisher and a pretentious walking simulator dev working together and actually making something good. With Steam refunds, I was gonna get it on PC. And yeah, anything where you aim a gun, I'll just prefer PC. Also, you can tweak it, it runs on Unreal, which means hopefully this version will not become redundant anytime soon in the sense that you can still play it a few years later. I like the original, but let's not skip ahead. The actual question you might have is, should you buy this? And I think the answer is a resounding maybe from me, because there's two groups of people I think I would definitely say try it, and that's not the majority. Because I would say definitely for crusty boomers, and also for anyone who thinks that any game released before the 2010s is considered old school. So either, you know, the boomers or the zoomers. And here's the why, because this game is remixed, you know. It's clearly made that way, or it was made to begin with, I think, because of the RE2 remake. So Silent Hill fans win thanks to Capcom yet again. Thank you, Capcom. And as such, just like the RE2 remake, you'll get a different experience. And I only think people would be interested in a different experience that are the ones who love the original and played it too much, and as such would probably enjoy playing this again in a remixed manner, right? Or the ones who were not around and are not exactly, let's say, technically inclined to get the old one running. Because, as you may know, Konami lost the Gold Master of Silent Hill 2, which is why this essentially 2-decade-old game will never be re-released. Silent Hill 2 came out in September 2001 on the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and Windows. But all of these versions, either you still have an old console, you can emulate it, or you know you somehow get the Windows version to work. But other than that, the only other method that they ever released it in was the HD collection, and that was made by an inexperienced team with an unfinished build of the game. So they had to recreate a bunch of textures. It's clearly unfinished and it's buggy. So that version came out on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 in 2012. It's not good. So all you can do essentially is emulate the old thing, dig out an old copy, or buy Bloober Hill 2, which just now released. And yeah, that's basically it. It was necessary to remake it for Konami to be able to re-release it, because they can't re-release it as they did with like a bunch of old Castlevania games or whatnot. And thankfully, they went for the RE2 route because, you know, Capcom showed that this is viable. But that doesn't mean it's better. In my opinion, and I'm prefacing this with in my opinion, the GameCube remake of Resident Evil 1 is better than Resident Evil 1 on the PlayStation, because the other one is schlock, and they knew they were making schlock, but when they had the chance to remake it, they made it in a way that is the same game, but better. So getting the remake, or getting like the new ports of it, are better than getting the original version. And playing the original version gives you hilarious voice acting and all of the schlock you can want. But if I were to recommend playing RE1, I would say play the remake first. But when it comes to Silent Hill 2 versus Bloober Hill 2, I would not say Bloober Hill 2 is better. Same with the RE2 remake over RE2 original. Because it's different. and these differences can be good. So, what are the good differences, so to speak, right? It's basically the way it plays. It's just the camera angle is behind your character now, and it's not essentially the old school survival horror type of thing, even though, Silent Hill was always psycho horror. So it's not like a Resident Evil where juggling your inventory and whatnot is really important. It's more about creeping you out, getting to you, and being oppressive, and the fights being jank and whatnot to discourage you, and actually being scared of all the stuff that you come across, but not in the sense that it's like a Resident Evil game where when you correctly manage your resources, you can blow any sort of boss the fuck up, right? But in this one, because the camera angle is different, all of the major components of playing Silent Hill 2 are different, right? Because the exploration, the puzzles, and the way you approach fights and you do fights are basically the big three of how Silent Hill 2 plays. And they're all different because of the way that the game is shown to you with the third person camera. And fighting in general is flat out better, honestly. It's stupid in a sense that James starts comboing people, but he sounds like a dweeb while he does it, and he doesn't look too, he doesn't look too comfortable like Alex in Homecoming. Homecoming is special in a way that they try to justify it, but when you play through the game, and now spoilers for Homecoming, but they actually ruin the whole idea that Alex is capable as a fighter because he's a soldier. In this case, James is still a store clerk, and he's still a dweeb, and he's still the master of suffocation, which makes him a good killer, I guess, but just the fighting itself seems, how you want to call it, it's just better. And the problem here is, to me personally, it's too much fun beating stuff up. I have not yet tried, I didn't change the settings much, I just want to experience like the basic version first. But there's an option to increase the difficulty of the fights. Maybe if I increase the difficulty of the fights, I have more of an incentive to actually run away from enemies. Right now I'm just fighting everything I can, because it's just fun. The story and areas that you go through during the story are also remixed. It's not the same. This means when you see discourse about this, you will see purists cry about it. And there are some points I think that are fair, and then there are some points that are not fair, because I personally enjoy that it's remixed in a way, because as I said, I'm part of the crusty boomer crowd who's played the first one too much. So seeing it in this new manner is great for me, and I like that. And also the old one just doesn't evaporate because of that. If you want the old version, you can still play it. And a comparison to this would probably be the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, which I also bought like a complete cheap, in a sense that I had actually way more hopes for the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster than I had for this one. And this one is way more of what I wanted the Deluxe Remaster to be. Because the Deluxe Remaster, in my opinion, is completely redundant, because Dead Rising 1 is still perfectly accessible on Steam or whatever. You can still buy it. It runs completely fine. It's unchanged. The changes that they made on the Deluxe Remaster are unnecessary. And they still kept it largely exactly the same at the same time. So it's a weird hybrid of trying to be not like a... That's why they even called it a Deluxe Remaster. It's a weird hybrid between a remake and a remaster, and it makes no sense. This game right here is truly a remake, right? And the problem here is more like, did they need to remake Silent Hill, right? And I don't think they did. This is the thing that I mentioned earlier. I want to remake, that's a game where they legitimately improved it. Silent Hill 2 compared to Bluebell Hill 2 is so different that it's a different thing while keeping the same story. I personally would have loved it if they would have started at Silent Hill 1 instead, because that's a game just like RE1, which spawned this huge franchise for a reason, because it's great. But at the same time, I can understand why somebody, when they encounter the whole cult stuff in the first game, that their eyeballs roll right out of their skull. So if you get a bunch of good people who are talented, who got an idea to update this and actually make a remake, properly take the original stuff and build something great on top of it, then I think that would be way more worthwhile than starting at Silent Hill 2. But Silent Hill 2 is the big one. All of these changes that they did intentionally make to remix it, are they good? It definitely looks great. Like, objectively it looks good, but the differences are not all for me. Especially in the character models. I think, for example, Eddie is supposed to be this man-child and whatnot, but he looks like a complete freak of nature in this game. I have no idea why they did that. In the first one he looked completely fine. I would have been completely fine with them trying to recreate him. James himself looks fine, but Angela, for example, on her it's improved in a sense that she looks way more the age range that she's supposed to be, but her proportions are so weird. I don't know why. Her head, like, she looks like a mutant. To me, I don't know. She looks like the sort of mutant that comes out of a Saints Row character creator. Maybe I'm too tough on Angela because she's probably my favorite character, but still, like, the other characters other than James, and to be fair, disclaimer, I only played essentially the first level, which is the apartments. I haven't finished the game yet. Maybe there's a sort of reason to this. Maybe I'm warming up to the other character models I haven't seen. Yeah, but speaking of, you know, the old stuff, Mary and Angela and whatnot, the spicy content in this game seems to be untouched. Pyramid Head is still a So I think the big plot with Angela, like the whole setup of Angela and the abstract daddies and whatnot, will not be changed, hopefully, but I haven't gotten there yet, and that stuff gets under your skin in a way. Is it scary? Is it scary? Personally, I think you should be the judge on that, because I'm dead inside and I've played it too much. It still gets something out of me, obviously, but it doesn't rattle me as much as I think somebody who has never experienced this. Saying again, you know, it's a 2-decade-old game. So there will be people who will experience this as their first Silent Hill ever, right? And in that case, the sound design is still very good. I think the music is used too little. But, you know, Masahiro Ito and Akira Yamaoka were involved. So both the look and the sound, which are super important for the whole Silent Hill thing to work, in my opinion. Right? It's one of those things where the way it looks and the way it sounds is the biggest part to what makes it scary. And so that needs to be nailed, and since they were involved, you can tell it's on brand and it looks and sounds really good, in my opinion. It's like great in that sense. It's not jank or whatever. It is kind of jank, but how you want to call it, if somebody tries to ape or imitate it too much, which you see kind of with with like the American made Homecoming and Downpour and whatnot. Downpour especially had really lame enemy designs. Homecoming, for all its faults, had great enemy designs, but a lot of the graphics were kind of falling apart. It looked muddy and whatnot. It's a mixed bag, and on this one you can tell Poland wins again when it comes to making the game look good. You know, the Layers of Fear thing, their walking simulators. As much as I hate that from Bloober Team, they looked good. And you can tell that they put the effort in. And yeah, that's basically it. A bit rambly, but you get the idea, I hope. And yeah, I'll show you my first encounter with Pyramid Head, like the first fight, so to speak, now. Unedited, I recorded that, like with voice, to show you how much it surprised me, because I'm so used to the original, of how they remixed it. And maybe I'll even record, like, if this that I'm doing right now does not turn out to be complete dog shit video, right? And I'm even releasing it. If you're seeing this, then I guess I deemed it alright. Maybe I'll go for a full recording of this game, also like some sort of time capsule that I can look at maybe years later if I survive that long. And yeah, just reminisce, because again, this game, I played it when it mattered. I'm playing it now. I pre-ordered it even though I had no hope for it. It definitely has it left a huge mark in my brain. So let's see how it goes, how much I like it. I'll play through it first in one like complete way, that I don't just get stuck on stuff, or in general I play games like a tester in a way that I need to rub my face against everything, and I'm very slow on the first time through, which would be probably boring to watch unless I would stream it and you could interact with me or something. But in the video format, I think just going through it once first, just check everything out myself in peace, and then doing one more run where I record it and show it to you guys and to myself in the future, I guess, through the time capsule. That would probably be a better thing to watch. And that's it. Thanks for watching this little video, and see you next time. Alright, let's see what you got. Wait. They got me. It's not this one. Get ready for the remix. Just assuming shooting his head does nothing. Oh, jeez. I like that the great knife is more obviously a scissor this time. Yep. Looking pretty good there, Silent Hill 2. Let's see what happens if I try to go back. Yeah. Well, we did a lot.